And now it's time for news from around the world. And meanwhile in Spain, they're doing something that I have been calling for literally years, experimenting with a 4-day work week. AJ Plus announced that they're gonna be working on giving workers 32-hour weeks with no reduction in pay, and the government will be covering some of the costs for interested companies. Advocates say it could improve mental health and productivity and lead to a better work-life balance. It is not all of Spain though, which some headlines have been very vague about. It is a trial that is going to involve companies amassing basically 3,000 to 6,000 workers, but it is expected that the trial will last for a couple of years. There's going to be some good data that's going to be collected, and the idea is that this will be a good test of what effect it actually has. Now, this won't be the first real trial, but it's the most specific for a 4-day work week. You've had things like other countries like Finland and New Zealand have explored a work week reduction. France adopted a 35-hour work week back in 2000. And individual employers, including Greenpeace Canada, have also experimented with a 4-day work week with full pay during the pandemic, which their executive director says it's the best. Our work is stronger than ever. Our staff feel more valued. They're healthier and more energized and more creative at work. Ben, what do you think about this experiment?
I love it. First and foremost, I'm just thinking it takes me back to high school. My senior year in high school was the first year that they tried the 4-day school week. And it just brings back fond memories of all the trouble I got into, good trouble on Fridays. But in terms of like mental health, yeah, I mean, we're clearly overworked in this country. We have this entire ethos of working until we die, that kind of mentality. And it's not always talking about how long we work until how old we get, but how intense we work during those 5 days. And because most of us are working around the clock when we're at home. So, I mean, I love the idea.
Yeah, I like it. The interesting thing I've found though is that we have talked about some of these other experiments in the past on TDR. And I personally said that I think it would be a great thing to experiment with. And I've noticed there's a lot of pushback, even from people in the working class. And I never really understood that. I mean, sure, there's people in the working class that also have been trained to be against raising the minimum wage and stuff like that. Like we are taught to sabotage ourselves. But I don't know, like I feel like when did we get the weekend? Like less than 100 years ago. But there was great work by labor activists and the whole movement, everything finally got us a weekend. It took us thousands of years of human society to get 2 days off. Okay, now we've been working really hard for decades and decades, and we're way more productive than we were. Do we ever get a third day? Why is everyone satisfied with we should never get more time off than we already do? Especially considering that in America, we get less sick time off, way less vacation time off. Why are we not fighting for a little bit more than our grandpa and grandma got back in the day? I've always thought that that's so weird.
That's a really good point. I'm just thinking that itself is a symbolic of how broken we are as Americans and how little we expect for our own selves. I often think about how is it that we allowed 548,000, someone corrected me, people to die from COVID-19 and we not like literally just tear this place apart limb by limb. And it's because I think we don't really value, we place more value on our jobs than we do our own personal lives. And I think that could be the only way to understand why we aren't asking for more, the way you framed it. I love that question.
Yeah, we're like trained to think, well, if we totally bash our head in our career, then eventually we'll have a good life. But what if we could just have the good life? What about that?
Yeah.
Anyway, there is a correction from the audience. Let's see who sent it. Oh, Bread and Toast says, what's John talking about? The Weeknd was born in 1990. Don't bring up music on my show.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.